It's onion planting time. I'm actually a little bit late, but better late than never. It's still totally fine. But I'm gonna show you how I plant my onion sets today. So the first thing, you wanna make sure that you have a good space for them. So I'm using my raised beds. I've got good soil in there, but I'm gonna add a little bit of earthworm castings and a little bit of compost and a little bit of bone meal. You can add whatever kind of organic fertilizers you like. Once you have your soil all prepped, it's time to start planting your onions. You can do plants or seeds, or my favorite is sets. They're little baby onion bulbs that you can grow. For me, they've just always done the best. It's so funny because some people swear by seeds and plants and sets. For me, it's sets. Those have been the most successful, but everyone's different. Also, the nursery that I go to keeps sets that you can store all year. So you have to be really careful when you're growing onions. I actually have a guide I'll link that you can see, but you want to get the right varieties, because if you just get, say, like Walla Walla onions or some standard regular onion, they're not going to last all year. If you use like the kind I'm getting at the nursery, if you use the kind that are in my guide, you can actually preserve those and store them and have them to use all year, so you don't have to go to the grocery store to buy onions anymore, which is pretty awesome. So even as I'm getting ready to plant this year's onions, I still have lots of onions in my garage from last year that we're using. This is my trusty tool. I was way too cheap to buy one forever. I think they're like 10 or 12 bucks depending where you get them. I wish this one was still in stock. I'll link another one for you. But I love this one. I haven't tried the other one that I'll link, but my friend got one and I think she likes it. So when you're planting in a small space, at least for me, I tend to plant my onions a little bit closer together than I would if I had loads of space, just because space is such a commodity. Now, if you do this, you'll get more onions, but they will be a little bit smaller. So if you give your onions more space, they're gonna grow bigger for you. For me, I don't need humongous onions. You know, usually a smaller medium onion is all a recipe calls for. So keep that in mind, but I'll show you how I plant them. This is great because it helps you control how deep it is. So when you press it, it makes the hole for you. You can also use it to space in between the onions if you want that way. So these are what the sets look like. These are the yellow kind. I also have red and I have a few shallots. They also have white, so whatever floats your boat, but I use the yellow onions the most, so I grow the most of those. I also grow a fair amount of red onions. Okay, so you can see how fast it is when you use that dibber. Just tons of holes everywhere, well spaced. And now I'll show you how I just stick them in. When you plant them, if it's something like this, it's okay if a little bit of the top is showing, and it's okay if it's not. You just want to go not more than an inch deep. All right, so in just a couple minutes, I've got my soil prepared, I've got all the holes made, and I've got the onions planted. When I said 1 inch deep, I mean not more. There shouldn't be more than an inch above your onion of soil. So your onion itself can be a little bit deeper. Pay no mind. So I've got all the onions in there now, and then the last thing you need to do is just smooth out all the soil to cover it up, and then I will come over here with some water, get them watered in. One of the cool things about living in a rainy climate is I won't have to water these very much at all until summer hits. The good old Washington spring rains will take care of most of that for me. These are usually ready to harvest July, like mid-July, end of July. And then after I harvest them, I will use this same bed to plant a fall crop so that I'm utilizing the space as best as I can. And then I cure and store the onions to last for the whole year. So it's pretty awesome. Like I said, if you want to learn more about that, click the link for the guide. And I will see you next time.